How World War I changed warfare with trenches and machines. European political elites in history sometimes went to war in ways that might seem frivolous to modern eyes. Many wars were fought over dynastic claims, inheritance disputes, and the prestige of monarchs. Disagreements over succession could trigger full-scale wars, even if the cause seemed personal. Nobles and monarchs also valued military glory and honor, and sometimes launched campaigns for prestige rather than necessity. Early modern European warfare could be ritualized with rules of engagement and limited objectives, so that battles resembled formal contests among elites. Even wars that appeared frivolous often had economic or strategic motives, including territorial expansion or control of trade routes. While it may look like these rulers waged war for fun, it was generally part of a careful calculation of power. Armies in early modern Europe were mostly composed of paid soldiers. Mercenaries were common and fought for money rather than loyalty to a nation. Swiss pikemen and German landsknechts are well-known examples. By the 17th century, some states, like France under Louis XIV, developed permanent standing armies with full-time soldiers who were trained and regularly paid. Feudal levies still existed, and nobles often brought their own armed retainers, who served out of obligation or the promise of loot. Raising armies required financing through taxes, loans, or subsidies, which limited how often wars could be waged. Soldiers were equipped and paid in formalized ways even in this period. Until World War I, armies remained relatively small. Early modern armies rarely exceeded tens of thousands in a campaign. Logistics, communication, and funding constrained army sizes. During the Napoleonic Wars, numbers grew into the hundreds of thousands, but were still small compared to later conflicts. World War I marked the first massive industrial war, where millions of soldiers could be mobilized, and casualties reached unprecedented levels. Early armies were small, in part because feeding and moving troops was difficult and expensive. World War I produced some of the deadliest battles in history. The Battle of the Somme in 1916 lasted 4 months and caused over 1 million casualties combined. The first day alone resulted in nearly 60,000 British casualties. The Battle of Verdun lasted 10 months with 700,000 casualties. These battles were so deadly because of industrialized weapons, trench warfare, mass mobilization, and attrition strategies. Artillery was the single deadliest weapon, responsible for around 60 to 70% of casualties. Machine guns, rifles, and poison gas also caused deaths and injuries, but on a smaller scale. Casualties included anyone killed, wounded, missing, or captured. Soldiers could die in minutes when advancing across no man's land under concentrated fire from machine guns and artillery. Frontal assaults sent thousands of men into open terrain where well-positioned guns could mow down waves of infantry in minutes. Commanders often ordered attacks using outdated massed infantry tactics, not adapted to industrial firepower. Soldiers faced horrific odds with little cover, and obstacles like barbed wire slowed them down. Handheld metal shields were impractical because they were heavy, limited coverage, and reduced mobility. Early attempts with small armor plates or portable shields were ineffective. The solution became combined arms tactics, including creeping artillery barrages, infiltration, smoke, and eventually tanks which could protect infantry. Trenches had been used in previous wars, including the Napoleonic Wars, the American Civil War, and the Boer War. Early trenches were temporary and limited, but foreshadowed the extensive and permanent trench networks of World War I, which stretched hundreds of miles and included multiple lines, dugouts, barbed wire, and machine gun nests. In summary, European war evolved from elite prestige conflicts to industrialized total war. Armies went from paid professional troops and feudal levies to massive conscripted forces. Weapons became more deadly and tactics struggled to keep up, leading to catastrophic casualties. World War I introduced trench stalemates, machine guns, artillery, and tanks that reshaped the nature of warfare. The scale of death and the methods of attack were unlike anything seen before, and soldiers often faced near certain death during frontal assaults until new technologies and strategies emerged.